Welcome back to Yes, I'm Adopted. Don't make it weird. As always, I'm Brett. That's Dave. We haven't introduced ourselves in a while, and we have some new people. So I figured we might as well say our names, so people aren't like, yeah, those two Asian guys that have that one show about adoption. Because that's racist.
And accurate.
And accurate.
I don't know any other two Asian guys that have a show.
But we are super excited to be back today. We have some really cool special announcements coming up here during this episode, so make sure you guys stick around. But first, we are going to get into our content for this week. And this week, we are talking about...
Community.
Oh, like the show.
We could. It was really great.
Yeah. So this week we are going to talk about community and how important or not important it is to have community in the adoption sphere. Let's go.
Let's talk about that. It's interesting to talk about community because of how important it is to us now. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, at this point in our lives, like, we've built a tremendous community, and we're part of a tremendous community.
Yeah.
And to see the effect that that's had on our lives over the last year has been really interesting.
It's been weird, man.
Yeah.
Never expected it.
Right? Didn't see that coming, and now we've been to some conferences, and we've engaged online, and we've met some people, and we have like kind of like pseudo mentors, and we have people that are following us in this whole thing, and we've got people that are walking the same path. Like the whole like find your tribe sort of thing,
right?
You know, has happened, and it's been so impactful over this last year. But if you had asked me about any of this 2 years ago,
right,
I would have no idea what you were talking about.
None.
Right? Like, and if you had asked me as like a high schooler or maybe in college, I would have been more open to it. But like, definitely as a teen, right?
Teenage,
like
younger years.
do you want to go and be part of a group of other adoptees?
Oh no! I don't know what this was. Oh,
what is this?
Those are excited fingers. Excited fingers. But I mean, yeah, for real though. As a kid, it didn't matter, right? And we've talked about this a few times. As a kid, you know, like how many adoption issues do you have as a kid, or you know, that are very prevalent or you know on the forefront of people's minds? And it's not really a ton. Like, did I care about really connecting with other adoptees as a child? No. I barely knew what being an adoptee meant.
Right.
Like, you know, like I was just another kid wanting to go hang out with the other kids. Like that was about it. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, a lot of parents, we do receive this question quite often, and you know, like should parents get their kids involved with other adoptees out there?
Sure.
You know, we've received that, and some people, and again, we're gonna stress this because we have a lot more people watching now. Our views are not going to reflect everybody else's. Our experiences are ours and ours alone. So get off our back. That's it. I don't know where I was going with that. I was gonna get real ranty and mean.
Were people really mad about that?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure.
But now they can't.
I don't read the comments, so
But as a kid, okay.
Right. But as a kid, we no. I mean, a lot of kids maybe have some issues that present, but like cognitively,
I don't know.
I don't know anybody under the age of like 10 that's like, oh, I'm adopted and that's causing all of my issues.
Right.
Right. Like maybe in middle school, high school, that's when a lot of that starts to come up. But like, if you had asked me, especially because of this innate desire for us to fit in, mm-hmm. if I wanted to go be part of a group of other outsiders, and we all just kind of talk about it. Or whatever. Like, I don't know what we were supposed to do.
Right.
Right? Because all of those are basically just like, they're play dates set up by our parents anyway. So.
Oh, play dates.
Which I have other issues with. But the idea that like, you know, you're going to get a bunch of adopted kids together and like, that's going to be a big deal for them. It's a big deal because they're just kids and they like getting together.
Yeah.
Right? But like I don't think adoption is going to come up.
Like, what's it supposed to do? Like
on the playground.
Help them not have any of these issues growing up? Or do they all come out at once since they're all there together?
They're like, oh, I guess I am having that issue right now.
Oh, no! Like, and they all just hit that existential crisis real early on.
They're all going down the slide and being like, that's better on the swings, I guess. Yeah. You know? Your mom is white.
My mom's white and I'm not. Is that what adoptee groups do? I don't know.
I don't know what they do.
Me neither. I've never been to one.
I don't know.
I went to an Asian one a couple times for like Asian homeschoolers, but that was about it. I mean, they're all adopted too, but I didn't know that. They were all just other kids to me.
Sure. I mean, as kids, I remember like when my parents would point out other kids that I knew that were adopted. And I remember specifically that my reaction to that was always, oh. What's for dinner?
Yeah. Right? It's just, it does not come up. Like, and I understand where parents are coming from. Sure. You know, like, we completely get that. You're trying to help your kid the best way possible. You want to do absolutely everything for them. But there are just certain things that they're not going to care about.
Right.
Like, they just want to run around and eat dirt. I don't know what kids do nowadays.
I mean, I've seen my kids. And that's
run around and play Fortnite.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, how important is it to have an adoptive or adoption community?
Well, now I think it's a big deal, right? Okay. But only because we've been involved for so long. Right. And we've had the experience where we're able to say, oh man, like reflectively, to have other people around that have had similar experience, right? And we can say, oh, I had that. Right? Like I had the thing that you just described, like never before, aside from basically you, have I ever been able to sit down with somebody and been like, oh, remember when you went to X, Y, or Z and had this experience because you were Asian and adopted, or you were adopted and felt this way, right? Like that never came up in any conversation, and now that we've met some other people, like it comes up all the time, and it's hilarious.
It is. Like, it's weird, man. Some people that we've talked to, it's like, I have known you for most of my life. How did I not know that you were adopted? I keep forgetting my mom is adopted sometimes.
Yeah. We've met several people, and it's like just being able to have that common ground now as an adult, and to have those common experiences as an adult is really cool, and really like it makes the reflective part of grieving a lot easier. Right. Because there's that community. There's other people that have experienced that and have started to really figure it out. Like, and that's made it normaler. Yeah. For us going forward. So I think that's kind of been the best part of having the adoptee community. Right. And then, for that case, like the parents that are watching the channel or that are part of our community, having you guys around has made this process of grieving a lot easier for me. Right? Like to be able to say that like my parents did a tremendous, I think, job of raising me and bringing me here to this point where I'm able to make these decisions and do these things. And that's the desire that so many of you have. Yeah, that is cool. And to be involved in that community and be a part of that and say, like, look, this is how we came out this way. Do your best, and that's been a lot really gratifying for me as an adult in the process of grieving my parents. Right. So we're having both sides of that is invaluable. Now. But then... Back then, okay, so for me, I was always, and I still am this type of person, I'm working on it, the kind of person who wanted to figure out things on their own. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want to burden people. I didn't want to inconvenience them. I could figure it out myself if you just gave me enough time. That is
a terrible way of thinking now. Now that I'm older.
It's not super efficient.
No, it's not. Because there are people out there that have had experiences, that have had, to go through different troubles and, different situations that I could learn from.
Right.
That I don't have to deal with this mess because they've already dealt with it.
Right.
It's how we parent our kids, right?
Sure.
Like, I went through this so you don't have to. And I'm going to teach you the lessons that came out of it so you don't have to go through this. And when I was younger, I just wanted to figure everything out on my own. I'm like, okay, let me go through the experience because that's going to help me form who I am as a person. That was a terrible way of thinking. I went through so much crap because of that mindset. But there's so much out there, and we talk about it all the time. There's so much literature out there. There's so many good blogs and vlogs and people just to get to know out there that have dealt with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about now, that if I just listened to them when I was younger, or I had that type of community, or I had that type of support system when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have had to go through some things that I dealt with.
Right.
And I'm not saying I would trade that right now, because, I am who I am because of that, but could I be further on in life if I had somebody else helping me walk through these steps? Right. And that's mentorship.
Sure.
Right.
Right. Which we kind of talked a little bit about last week.
Yeah.
But we'll probably come back to at some point, because mentorship is hard.
Mentorship's so hard.
But, it's been exciting to see the state of adoption community over the last year or so as we've really dug into it. To know that college campuses have...
That's so cool.
Right? Have adoption communities where adoptees get together and do things is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it,
I know.
to be perfectly honest.
Never had anything like that when I was younger.
No. Huh.
Or maybe there was stuff like that when we were younger.
And
we just didn't know.
Yeah. In college, I feel like I probably would have found out, but I clearly didn't.
Right.
So, to know that stuff exists is super cool. And there are adoptee communities that have met in our town that we totally didn't know about. We probably should have been more on top of that.
Right. Truth.
But yeah, I mean, it's been really cool to see what's coming and to be a part of it. Now, that being said, there is also the internet. The internet, which is a pseudo community.
Yup.
It's its own type.
As long as you navigate it properly.
It's own type of community, and we've experienced. I mean, we've known about that for years, but on a personal level, to be like one, I'm tremendously proud of the Don't Make It Weird. Yes, I'm Adopted, Don't Make It Weird group. Right. And the community that's forming there and the people that are talking, because by and large, the vast majority of the people that we interact with or are a part of our group are not jerks.
Yeah. And it's really cool because we have gotten some posts that are very questionable, or some comments that are very questionable on there. Mm-hmm. But nobody, as far as the core part of the community, has gone to attack.
Right.
They come to us and say, hey, is this okay? Or, hey, I'd like to respond to this. Is that fine with you? But nobody has gone really on the offensive to try to just hurt somebody else's feelings and call them stupid.
So that's our thoughts on community as adoptees now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now.
So, Dale, what's next?
So, using that, this is going to seem like a shameless segue into the
shameless segue
into the next thing.
We've been talking, Davo and I have been talking for, 3 months now. This show has gone so much further than we ever expected it to. We didn't know what we were getting into, really.
No, we did not.
It's been so cool because, when we started this out, it was just these crappy vlogs in order to get our company's name out there.
Right.
But then it evolved, and then it evolved again, and then it's continuing to evolve. And there's so much, that we want to be able to accomplish using this show.
Yeah.
There's so much education that we feel like we could bring to people, and so many stories that we want to bring out as well. Not just our stories either. We want to be able to bring out other adoptee stories, because let's be real. The stuff that's out there right now, a lot of it for the last 20 years or so has been very harsh, very critical on adoption.
Sure.
But we're now starting to see these people that have grown up without some of these resources and like, here's what I would do. Here's like my life and here's my story and what I had to go through.
Right.
Here's how you can avoid these issues.
Right.
And a lot of that is starting to come to light now, which is amazing. It's so cool to be able to see. And we want to be able to be a part of that.
Right.
So we have been talking for the last couple months about how it is that we're going to go and continue. Yes, I'm adopted. Don't make it weird. And this is where you come and play. And I have a hard time with this, so I'm going to give it to him.
We're going to ask you for money.
There we go!
We want to continue and we want to grow and we want to expand. But in order to do that, to be perfectly honest, what we need is some financial resources. This has been a tremendously gratifying experience to do. But in order to go any further, in order to grow it, and in order to expand this community, we're going to need your participation. And what that means is that basically you got to help us feed our families.
Please, my family's so hungry. My child eats rice. I mean, she loves
rice. She would have probably done that.
I mean, she's half Korean, so she loves rice.
What that means is that as of right now, we're starting phase 1 of our expansion into our next phase.
Yeah.
Thing, right? Which is that the website is live.
What?
Is it live?
The website's live?
The website is live.
That's crazy.
So if you go to
www.yesimadopted.com, we're fancy,
you'll see our website, which is there. And that's been something that we've been working on for the last few months because we really want our content to be easily accessible to you guys. Because when it's here on social media, when it's on Facebook or YouTube, like, it's there, but it's kind of hard to find what you actually want to see. Right. And this year we've got about 2 years worth of content that covers a huge spectrum of topics.
Yep.
And so with the website, we're going to have that going up where we're going to tag the videos. We're going to have them sorted out in seasons and that kind of stuff, so that it's easier for you to access that content and to share that content with the people that you think need it.
Yep.
So that is now up and running. What you're also going to find on there is our shameless plug for something that we're calling the tip jar.
Shameless plug. So the tip jar, it is just $5 a month. Now this is a monthly reoccurring gift. I don't know what you want to call it.
Let's call it a gift.
Yeah.
We're gonna pay taxes on it.
Yeah. So taxable
gift.
So honestly, it's just the cost of a latte a month if you really break things down here, because coffee's expensive now. And so if you are getting a latte a month, we're just asking you to just do $5 a month. Now you can turn it off at any point. You can restart it at any point. But honestly, like, to be able to get the tip jar up and running, again, I have a huge problem with asking for money, but we are so passionate about what it is that we're doing. We want to be able to continue the conversations that we're having with you, and we want to expand. We actually want to be able to take this and do something bigger than just in our office space right here. We want to be able to do some really cool stuff partnering with you. So that's what that is all for. This is to go towards the expansion and to go towards keeping the lights on, because things cost money.
Yeah.
Electricity is expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
But we also want to be able to continue this show. So we are just asking for that $5 a month. One of the other things that we're doing here is we're going to be starting a GoFundMe. There are some people that have expressed, hey, we would love to be able to do like one-time donations to you on a bigger scale than just the $5. So how can we go about doing that? So we're going to be starting up a GoFundMe. It's the easiest way to get it out to people. If you feel so inclined in order to donate to that, like, we would be truly appreciative and thankful and eternally grateful, because we are so excited about what it is that the show is going to be doing.
Get excited. Check out the tip jar.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
We haven't said that in a while.
Nope. Yes, I'm adopted. Don't make it weird, and you can too. That's our new outro. And I'm walking away now.